Hi guys and good evening. It is the 7th of the 11th, 2020, 5:13 p.m. London time. Wherever you're tuning in from today, I hope that you are well, and I hope that the current market volatility isn't affecting you too much and that you're enjoying your weekend. Please give us around 2 or 3 minutes and then we're going to pop into the markets. This is an open Q&A session for anyone that needs any TA done, anyone that has any questions, and just a few tips on the market and what we're doing in Tier 7 right now. I posted this in public and in our private Discord. Best thing to do right now is to start off with BTC. Let's check how many concurrent viewers we got. Okay, so I'm going to pop this out. Okay guys, if you can hear me, and if you're currently in the stream, just pop in and say hello in the chat. I'm going to post the link on Twitter. Okay, so let's start this live stream. I'm just going to go along. Hello, Mijo. Hello, brother. So yeah, waiting for people to get in, but I don't know how many people are going to be here on a Saturday night at 5 p.m. So we're going to continue. So the primary thing we are watching right now, and I think that everyone is watching in the market, is this resistance level right here at 16,218. As we approach a Sunday and a Monday, it's not advisable, at least for me, to be trading right now, especially as we're pressing on resistance. I can't say that I'm entirely bullish on Bitcoin here for the short-term trade. Of course, I haven't unloaded any of my spots. I've unloaded none. Just leverage longs from 12,200. If you want evidence of that, I can provide you it. We traded from 12.2, 12.3, and we sold out average around 15.5. So congratulations for anyone that got into that trade with us in Pro. That was a great trade. 2 or 3 great trades lately, ETH BTC, BTC, and ETH USDT. They really dragged our portfolio up this month, so excellent. We don't want to open any fresh trades here, and we think that we're playing between 2 barriers right now, 13.6 and 16.2. So any movement down to 13.6 is likely going to be a buy for us. You can see, look, if you squash this chart and you just place a box over where most of the price action occurred recently, it's here, right? And so any movement to this region for us is a buy, especially if, for example, we take out that low. So imagine the price is ranging in this general area. People that accumulated here, they're going to have their stops right below 12,766. So ideally, to get long again in a play-wise, in a leverage play-wise, we want to see something like this. Yeah. If not, likely going to load more spot up in that region. It's really as simple as support and resistance at this point. Overcomplicate the process at your own peril. When volatility emerges and the market is pumping in general, it's best to stick to key levels. This way, it's going to help you execute, right? And you're going to end up on top if you do this. Volatility does present opportunities, but for most of you, you're not smart enough traders, and that's just the truth, to be scalping day in, day out. And so key levels are key. That's the bias for Bitcoin, right? Past here, all-time highs, no problem. I can't tell you the target right now for all-time highs. I think that in its own right is not my forte, and it requires outsourcing to someone else. Though I will study at some point where I think it can go by fib extensions and by voodoo, and we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Okay then. All right, guys. So for now. Apparently, Biden has become president, right? I don't know what that effect that's going to have on the market, but it's no issue. It's no bother to me. I'm just going to see what materializes here. I really am not expecting much more than 16,218. I don't care what the elections say. The charts are the charts, and I use them as a primary measure. Ethereum certainly is the next major talking point. And Ethereum, again, is as simple as support and resistance. Key level on the weekly, 433. Key resistance on the weekly, 794. Certainly, we go to a higher time frame. We've got a better resistance point, which is 672. So, seeing as this resistance area has already been drained previously, if we reclaim this area, I think we can move to at the very least, 670. So the current trade we're stalking at the moment is a swing, a 3.5 to 4 hour swing towards 672. Lower time for a study of BTC before I continue on to the other metrics. Law of the longers, pump it, take liquidity. Law of the longers, pump it, take liquidity. This is a 3 stop rate here. I think we are bound to move up now from this area, seeing as we did enter into this area that was engulfed, i.e. lower time frame support. I think that something like this makes sense, especially because it's a Sunday tomorrow. So we're expecting price to reverse the common narrative for the weekend on Monday. So what's likely to occur is you're going to get a narrative formed tomorrow of upside. And then on Monday, we expect the direction to reverse in the most favorable direction according to risk to reward. So the risk to reward, if we take out this high tomorrow night, the risk to reward will be to the downside. So that said, we also need to look at Ethereum BTC. And I am bullish on Ethereum BTC. I know that this is a front run level that many of us are watching. It's 25659. And this appears right here. Ideally, for me, because of the composite volume or value that is formed here. So from 26247 down to this area. But listen, we don't need to get perfect touches of areas that we want, right? It's not required. We don't need it. So there is an opportunity for a bottom here, absolutely. It's not 100% that we come and take this low. So it's a good idea generally starting to move into ETH BTC in this region. This bullish engulfing candle for me was the draw yesterday. Move into a key weekly level and form a bullish engulfing candle. Should BTC start to spill, this is going much higher for me. And it's an excellent hedge against just your BTC stacks in general. So that is just a brief overview of the market. It's not much, granted, but I think it's good enough to form a basic thesis on. Is be very careful going into tomorrow. If you can, try not to trade. And be prepared to use high time frame levels. Certainly, if BTC dumps, alts are going to go with it, guys. Yeah, temporarily. So you're usually going to get a pause and then alts start to recover. What this will look like in many of the breakouts that we see this week is as follows. Let's say, okay, this is probably a poor example, but we have a weekly candles forming here. Intra-week, if BTC moves down, expect the lower side of the weekly range this week to be tested, right? So usually we call this a higher low, wick retest. Expect the wick of this week to be retested on many altcoins, and certainly for some, for there to be continuation to the downside, such as Tezos USDT. We are expecting a lot of volatility again come Monday, Tuesday. But my bias at the moment is to proceed up from where we are to higher prices on BTC. Possibly this drags alts up for a painstaking last movement where noobs or newer players start to buy in and then we dump. But I'm not looking at longing BTC anywhere in this region at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to open the floor. I don't know how many people there are inside right now. But if there's anything you need answered or any questions that you want answered, please, for the love of God, ask them. My time is free. It's not often I give my time free, but I think you're an idiot if you need help and you don't use this time effectively. George, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Jehovah, Joe McDonald, and Think Game Designer, no problem, guys. So at the moment, I'll tell you what we've been doing with our alt positions. We're pretty much flat. I took, for the guys that are in pro right now, you know that we've been filling shorts on DOT, right? Simply because you see this general weekly rejection up here, right? So you form a weekly rejection and you're forming a higher low candle wick into that area. So our thesis was we had a QM level right here. We filled initially half in this general area, and we completed our asks earlier on today at the 4.6 marker. Now, since we moved to daily support, we've taken profits from our position, right? We took profits around about this region where we are right now, and we were using DOT and Atom as a hedge against each other. So we're currently long Atom upon the thesis of this, right? So you have 1 second. Key weekly area being tapped, give or take, right? You can just call that an order block. We move into it, we wick into this lower area, we go higher, we form a lower high, and we form a lower high on 78.6. It's a bit of a meme, but you know, I'm going to use it in this circumstance for confluence. Move to a daily time frame, you find that lower high structure is broken right here. Right? So this for us was a trigger higher for Atom, and the trigger is to take out this high towards this area right here. Right? So that's our general thesis for Atom right now. And what we're doing is we're hedging DOT and Atom against each other. So you will have seen, for the guys that are in our copy trading, you will see that the P&L is basically negative, right? Not negative, sorry. P&L is basically flat between both positions. And we actually closed DOT earlier on, but we're letting Atom run at least until tomorrow's close, because this is an opportunity that we take this high up here. We rob this high, we're going to take profit on Atom, and then reassess as the market continues into Monday. Certainly there is the other idea that we form a lower high here, what people typically call a flag, break structure there, and from there we'd like to enter shorts. Composite value that we're looking at for a short trade would likely be right below today's wick. So what that would look like is a lower high very close to the previous high, like this, and for a short down to the 4.555 region. Right. That's the alternative scenario we're looking at, and it's a good example of how you should have 2 or 3 situations in the bank, as of course you take your own trades, especially in this kind of climate. All right, so let's get your questions answered. I'm just going to check if there's any. Lorenzo, it's great to see you. Great to see you, brother. Okay, Mijo, what do you want to see XRP on? Do you want to see it on the USDT, or would you like to see it on the BTC? I'm just going to use the USDT pair for now, and we'll go back in history. No, we want to use Bitstamp, don't we? So, Bitstamp should be easier. So for Ripple, there's 2 things I want to highlight to you because I know this chart very well. The first thing is that when you explore Ripple and you explore the price history all the way from December 17, right? So 3 years from our general period, you don't see any consecutive 2-month green candles or 2-month white candles. So check this sphere as you go down. You don't see it, do you? Nowhere do you see that. Here, you get, this is what Ponzi pointed out, the guy that works for us at Tier 7. He pointed out that we had 2 consecutive monthly candles, right? Now you could say, oh, it's only a candle. What's up? But listen, it shows a strength switch, and it shows something different from the average. So for us, it is significant. What also is significant is if you want to say we had a raid here from this low, instant snapback, we've taken liquidity from this general region, any buys that were sitting here. The outlook for Ripple is pretty decent if this is to enter into a new bull market. If you actually believe we're going to get another bull market for Ripple, there's not many other better times that are forming than now, to form a general bull thesis. So right now we have a trigger in order for a market-wide breakout. And that trigger is right here. Right? So if this area, if we close the weekly above this area, that's it. That's new bull market for me. It's been my trigger for a long time. But I'm going to let you in on a secret. I've been buying Ripple here, right? Simply because of where we are in the chart. And simply because where XRP BTC is. It's entering into a historical zone that it moves from, right? So let's look at history. It's not always indicative of the future. But I think my chart is on Poloniex. Right, so you see this pump range. It's a very loose chart, but you see historically when Ripple moves into this region against the BTC pair, it moves, right? Certainly we had a minor reaction here, but my thoughts for the BTC pair are as we move into this area and then move off. So with BTC cycling now into a new bull run, in my opinion, and with XRP BTC moving into a range that generally pumps up, I think the thesis for us is up, especially now that Ripple bears are very salty, right? Ripple bulls are very salty. And Ripple bears are euphoric. They're just, fuck Ripple, Ripple's a shitcoin, etc. And it probably is, right? But there's the right time to be bearish and the wrong time to be bearish, and here is not the right time to be bearish, okay? So that's my thought on Ripple. Okay. Do you believe that we enter into an alt bull run in the next few days? Well, give it time, brother. Give it time. Usually what you find in Think Game Design is that when alts initially bounce, they bounce and they lure you in, right? They lure most market participants in the first innings. And what they'll do is they'll bounce, they'll seem very impulsive, and they'll retrace quite a lot of the move. So at the moment, we've seen alts kind of bottom out and then pump up, right? The alt bull run doesn't start until we do this, right? We start to move higher. So we need to form a higher low, right? Form a higher low, and then break structure of the last sell-off range that we have here, right? So look at your alt USDT pairs and look for this structure. I can tell you right now on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, we're currently in this area, right? What is the form for me is here, and then furthermore. So this is the place that you take a trade. It's not rocket science. It doesn't require any psychic ability to take or any really extended education, but it does require patience and knowing that this is what usually happens. No problem. SRM. Okay, Enzo, but you have to tell us what you want, the USDT pair or the BTC pair. SRM. So I can already tell you that value is formed here. Right? In fact, let's dial that down a bit more. I can tell you that popular resistance is right here. So it's a little bit choppy for me. What I want to see for SRM USDT is the following. I want to see us claim this area first, right? If we claim here, then I think we will move a little bit higher. But even that is you'd have to find a good risk to reward, at least according to my methodology, you'd have to find a good risk to reward scenario happening there. And that would likely form if we have invalidation here, right? So the way you would mark that setup is you would wait for that high to break after a higher low, stick a stop loss under the pivot, target that next area of commonly traded price. that is my idea for SRM. But actually, what you can see is that there's a breaker right here, and you can see lots of volume being formed at this very small range that's formed just before this breaker. So if you're looking at a lower time frame and going into Monday for bounces, you want to find a bounce in this general region, right? You want to wait for bottoming PA, possibly a minus stop rate, and then wham, to trigger that trade. So you can be fairly aggressive with it, and you can indeed take partial risk with soft and hard stops to help you out. And this can also be formed to be a good trade, right? Because you do see, I don't need to show you the RSI, but I want to show this for guys whose eyes are not skilled. You can see during this trend that momentum is changing here. You see that the candle structure and the length and depth of candles are different. And so you can see that represented in the RSI right here. So if there's going to be any bottom in this local trend, at least for the USDT pair, it's likely to happen here. Should we look at the BTC pair? Here is what you find. Virtually nothing, unfortunately. On a 4-hour basis, virtually nothing. So I believe that the USDT pair is clearer, the more clear pair. I don't like this area in general. I think we have levels to play with the USDT pair that are much more clear. Okay, so that's for SRM. I did both pairs for you. Jehovah, Link, and BNB. Okay, Jehovah, let's do this for you, brother. Jehovah, Link, USDT. Okay, so this is how I'm trading Link right now. We tried to enter, but it ran off without us. So key weekly level here. Rate of a previous 2 weekly lows. And you have a target of this pre-breakdown range here. So you want to look locally, where is support for Link, right? Now you could say that, yeah, we've taken this liquidity here, right? This is where stops have been placed for anyone shorting. So I think you need to be cautious here in general. But for me, if this area closes, or if this weekly closes with a giant hammer, any retrace inside its weekly candle, for me, will be a long, right? So any retrace within this candle will be a long. So it's up to us to investigate where that lower may form. And we have a key level forming right here. Again, draw the composite value out from our general area. You'll find most likely it coincides, right? So here is the idea for Link, at least in the short term. This shouldn't be blue, apologies. I think a solid idea is to see a reaction here and long to targets, right? Current idea. For me, difficult to assume anything else until we break down this weekly below 10.8336, or we lose this low on the daily. Okay, so this low on the daily is a short. Even the second that we move below there, it's a short. Because of how we moved to this area originally and how this is going to be trapping this, one could say that now this, if the daily closes below here, this is looking like a short. Due to the weekly structure, if the weekly structure closes well, I'll be very, very cautious about shorting that, right? I'd actually rather short if this is a loss and we cannot reclaim it, and we move down much further then, right? And we move, in my opinion, down to $5. Typical TA guys would say, oh, this is a flag. You know, do what you want. Say what you want. Okay, so that's the USDT pair for Link. Let's trash this. And then BNB USDT. Okay. It was BNB. Let's start from the monthly, guys. Not much space here, if I'm honest. There's more space to the downside for a consolidation, right? Can you see that? We're pivoting off a monthly level right now. And so, let's go to the daily. Doesn't look great to me here. I might be tripping out, but it doesn't look Doesn't look too good. I think, okay, so the first thing I can say is that if we move to here, it's a buy. Right, so we can draw a range here. You can say range low, range high if you want. Okay, you can say dip to this general region is a buy. And honestly, I would think that this is a short. I really do think this is a short. The problem is that this monthly candle hasn't closed yet, but we've moved to a monthly pivot. Yeah. So I'd be looking for short trades here, but I don't see anything right now. Really, I don't see anything. Maybe I'm being blind. But we haven't formed. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I do see something. Sometimes it takes me a while. It's not something I favor, but possibly I'll take it on Monday if the market opens up bearish. Here's a trade. In fact, yeah, I think the highs might be in for BNB here. I'm not too sure. What I'll do is I'll release some public analysis when I come to a conclusion, because I'm not entirely sure. Something feels off with me on this chart. But yeah, certainly, you know, it's very simple. If we lose the weekly on here, we go to this next monthly level. Alright, so now I see more clearly. Alright, now I see more clearly. Here is my final bias for BNB. Apologies, there's a good bit of time. Right, so this is a key bearish retest at a monthly level. Right, you get a key bearish retest at a monthly level, and you get a stop rate at the top. Now, technically, any move higher here is a short, and should this, like this, right? So, okay, so this is how I play it, guys. Okay, so I'll play it like this. Shorting in this region here with a stop below this high up here. And I would like to short this down to target 1 and then target 2, which is down here. So bias for BNB is short, like quite a lot of the market at the moment actually. I'm more short bias than I am long bias in the altcoin market, surprisingly for many people. And that's it. So how that materializes here is a creep back to this high here, stop below our intermediate high, and a short swing really down to this target. So 2 to 3 hour trade. Probably can bloat the position size a little bit if you want. But yeah, I think the high might be in for BNB USDT. So there we go. Do you see us testing the monthly 11,5000 OP? Okay, let's check that. Oof, very tired today. So okay, he's talking about this level here. Yeah, I can see us testing that. Absolutely. You know, there's no reason. Listen, if this starts falling, we can move fairly quickly. Look at the mileage we've done, guys. Yeah, a lot of people don't respect that. Okay, yeah, it is a bull market, but bull markets also come with their intra-week and intra-month corrections, and they're usually corrections that are difficult to stomach. Yeah, trading a bull market isn't actually as easy as you think it is. If you're not a typical trader who just takes positions during the daytime, you can get even stuff like this happening. Right? You would be foolish to discount that. So yeah, it can happen. I can definitely see it. Endorphinist. Let's look at .USDT. Sorry about that. Okay. going to be the last request for today. My bias in general for DOT is bearish here. We formed a wick into a weekly level. We formed a lower high today. If our weekly candle can close as a lower high, like this, it will confirm a short, and it will confirm a short for me down back to this 3.0852 region. Now, aggressively, we moved into this weekly level. We moved down to support, and aggressively, we were rejecting off it again. If you look at this, right, you have a trend that's forming here. It breaks, but then it fakes out and it returns back to breakout point, and it hits this level that it tried to break out of originally, and it rejects again. So I know a lot of people are saying up here. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm gonna have to see that on Monday. I'm slightly bearish on DOT, but not entirely. Certainly, we've front run this level on DOT, which is around 7.5 to 8% away from us. So if BTC, let's say, falls 15% and DOT's BTC falls 8%, that's a 22% fall. What's the difference here? 28. So we can absolutely come down lower. But I've got out of DOT USDT here for now. I filled a short here, but I thought, let me take profits, seeing it's just the weekend. We lose this area, it's gone, right? It's gone for me. Right, it'll go to target. Likely first for me to see this, to form a lower high of the lower high. And then there is your confirmed trigger right there. That's where you take a shot if you want to enter into a confirmed setup. Right here. That's where you take a shot. So what it's going to look like for me is I'm going to fill 50% here at these highs on a return. And then should we break below, I'll just add my position and target these lows. Okay. Someone says the 2 wicks down makes it risky. Possibly he's saying the 2 wicks down for DOTs doesn't make it entirely risky at all. But 2 wicks for the upside, 2 wicks for the downside. Let's look at this in the inverted view. Yeah, it certainly could go either way, right? Which is why I said I'm bearish, right? I think it can go up here, but ideally I'm waiting to see what happens on Monday. All right, my thesis was based on this first. So usually higher time frame will show you the key, especially when trend trading. This is currently how I see things. We could say that we have this untapped area here. And we can also say we have this untapped area here. Well, let's see what happens. Certainly a move back above. As I said, this area, we start to accelerate. Okay, let's see if we've got anything else left. Yep, no problem, Mijo, no problem. I'm sorry that it's not as concrete as a lot of you would like today. Saying, hey, this is where it's going and whatever. I think the guys in Tier 7 Pro can tell by the way I've been trading lately that I'm just taking booking profits early. And not generally staying in positions too long unless they've qualified themselves. So we actually shorted here. We took profit here. We shorted here. We took profit here. And we longed here and took profit here. So we've been like messing around with DOT especially a lot. But the trend should unwind in either side soon. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, all right. I'm going to end that here because I'm shattered, guys, and I need to eat some food. Thank you for tuning in today. I don't know how many people came through. Yeah, we got around 62 people in general and 20 people watching. So That's good. As a last as a last ending note, any of you guys that want guidance in this next run, if you've been looking for a quality space to come over to, ours is probably one of the best out there. I say that confidently. You can come in with a 2-day trial if you want to. There's a $99 deal that we're running right now for our trade ideas only area. And this is for people that just want a feed of trades that we're taking and to see how we're managing every single trade that we're in. And then for the more serious guys that want to have all the market reviews, have access to requests, have everything else, that's your package right there. All right, so no need. There's free stuff for you out there. But for the more serious guys that want to either learn or really need guidance in this pumping market, we offer it, and we offer it at a very high level. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and I will see you in the new week. Thank you.